Hi, this is Nicholas Yock, a registered migration agent from Pathway to Oz. Today, I'm going to discuss with you the requirements to apply for a travel exemption. So this video is specifically going to be in regards to applying for a travel exemption for a temporary visa holder to travel to Australia. So look, even though the COVID situation is improving in Australia and obviously around the world, rates of vaccinations are going up quite quickly. Currently the Australian borders are still very much closed to temporary visa holders. Obviously, there are some, exemptions to this, where under certain circumstances, temporary visa holders can enter. But before you do enter Australia, you must not only have a valid visa, you must have a travel exemption approved if you are a temporary visa holder. Look, it's free to apply for a travel exemption. And on top of this, we've heard a lot of indications, a lot of times where applicants have had their first 4 travel exemptions refused and then their 5th approved. So you can apply as many times as you want. When should you apply for your travel exemption? Look, probably immigration recommend around 2 weeks to 2 months before you plan to leave. Obviously, if it's a crazy emergency due to the death or critical illness of a family member or something like that, they may shorten that time frame. All right, so the eligibility for travel exemptions. So for temporary visa holders, not everyone's going to be eligible for a travel exemption. Immigration have outlined a limited set of reasons that people would get granted a travel exemption. The most common reasons for a travel exemption are you are an immediate family member of an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, or you are looking to travel for compelling and compassionate circumstances. I'll put a link below to a full list of the exemptions so you can check it out. There is a lot on there. Please note, we have heard that in the future, immigration will look to definitely expand this list of exemptions. It might include things like, additional work visas, study visas, and stuff like that. Okay, so look, if you're applying for an exemption, what is an immediate family member? From an immigration perspective, obviously. Generally speaking, immigration defined an immediate family member as a spouse or de facto partner or dependent child. Okay, so in the eyes of immigration, your parents, your siblings, if you have a child who's older and not dependent, they don't meet this requirement of an immediate family member. Please note, these family members usually must be Australian citizens or permanent residents as well. What are the compelling or compassionate circumstances? Well, immigration actually don't tell you what a compelling and compassionate circumstance is. They don't have some sort of exhaustive list. That's for a purpose. Some reasons listed by immigration to meet those requirements would include needing to travel due to the death or critical illness of a close family member. Please note, most importantly, even if you do meet the requirements for an exemption, immigration has been really tough on this at the moment. In our experience, we've seen a lot of different visas refused, even from applicants who would meet these requirements. I think if you apply, if possible, it's always best to mention the compelling and the compassionate circumstances in light of an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. So, Australia's going to care how does your travel or whatever affect the Australian citizen or the permanent resident who's based in Australia. They don't care as much, unfortunately, how it affects, non-Australian citizens. That's just what we've seen. So always try and put it in the eyes of, of the Australian citizen, the emotional stress, the mental toll, and everything like that. And last but not least, guys, look, as I mentioned before, we've had a lot of people who have been refused for a travel exemption, the first couple of times have it approved. So go for it, give it a try, it doesn't cost anything. All right, so supporting documents. Look, immigration, you will need to provide supporting documents. Immigration aren't just going to take your word for it. So what could this include? Well, obviously, proof of ID, travel itinerary, evidence you hold a visa, proof of relationship if you're trying to sort of show that you're in a de facto relationship. Most importantly, letters from the doctor if it's compelling and compassionate circumstances, letter from the employer if it's necessary that you come out here to work, statutory declarations, really anything that you can think can support your claim. Where do you apply for an exemption? Well, look, I'll put the link below and you can check it out. It's basically through the IMI website, through a different portal from your standard IMI portal. Look guys, most importantly, I really want to stress, I know the border's been closed for a long time, but it is going to open. Things are moving in a very positive direction. We're going to get travel bubbles, travel borders with different countries with low rates of COVID. The population's getting vaccinated. So I really do think that these exemptions are going to be loosened, quite quickly. I don't know when, but hopefully in the coming months, we start really getting some movement on that and we really start, seeing everyone come back out to Oz. Well, I hope you found that information useful. As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to contact Pathway to Oz. Thank you.